Hey there guys, how you going? So basically this video is going to be called the future of free-to-play. It's basically my take on, well, with the limited amount of jewels that we have coming into our game as a free-to-play player, and honestly this applies to pay-to-play and cheap-to-play as well, because you don't have unlimited, you have, a few more than us, but not heaps, anyway. I've got a selection of the premium medals that will be coming out in the future here. Some of them are a lot better than others, some of them are completely worth skipping, and some of them are going to be pretty much mandatory if we want to stay competitive in this game. So it's going to be a quick little rundown on my thoughts as to what should you invest your jewels in, basically. Let's start off. Okay, so I'm over here now. Basically, I'm going to give you a quick rundown, real quick, of how we get jewels in this game. Obviously, a quick summary. So the daily logins is pretty friggin' obvious. If we average it out being 500 over 5 days, we can say 3,000 over 30 days. The daily jewel challenges, so we get 3 weeks worth of those every 4 weeks. Every week we get 1,400 jewels, meaning we get 4,200 jewels every 28 days, assuming we complete them all. Union Cross is a bit harder to measure, but just based on this week's, we have roughly just over 600 jewels available for a 14-day period. And I believe that matches up pretty well with the 300 we got for the previous 1 week period. So I'm saying roughly 1,200 jewels, probably a little bit more, but let's say roughly 1,200 over a 28-day period. Every month we get a story update, which gives us 750 jewels over the 15 quests. Yeah, 250, 250, 250. The Proud updates is actually pretty good chunk. So if you haven't done all your Proud Mode quests, you could have some jewels waiting for you. We get 50 new Proud Mode quests a month. And within those we get jewels every 5 quests. So it's 10 increments of more jewels. And I believe it's 150 each time. That's a pretty good chunk right there. You also have the Organization 13 quests, which give 20 jewels per completed quest. Meaning if we can do all 13, and last month I actually wasn't able to, a lot of us weren't able to, that'll net us 260 a month. We also get additional bonuses, like let's say day 500, we'll give you like 500 jewels I believe, or I put down other events, lol, meaning that we haven't had a farmable event in quite a long time. I think Maleficent B was the last one. We get a few from the weekly raid, and then you summon the raid boss and you get like 30. I think at the end of the month you get 100. So I've said you get roughly 11,000 jewels per month. I think that's a pretty good estimate of how much you get a month if you aren't spending any. Okay, so where are we going to spend those? Okay, so before I get way too far into this, I'm basically going to be coming at this video from the point of view of what kind of player do you want to be in this game? Do you want to be competitive in terms of you want to rank high in the high score challenges, the Coliseum? Do you just want to have fun with the game? Do you just want to pull every now and then for a cool looking medal, try and get it? Do you want to go after like really, really rare medals that don't have a chance of coming back too often? Just keep that in mind when I'm talking about, from my point of view, I want to say very competitive in terms of try and rank, top 5,000, top 2,000, to try and get the rewards whenever I can. But that's not everyone's playstyle, it's not for everyone. A lot of people are more than content, and more power to them, to just come in this game every so often, do a couple pulls here and there, beat the story content, beat some of the harder quests, and just have fun. Other fools like me want to really dedicate a lot of time to staying semi-competitive, and I've also put the restriction on myself to not spend money, so yeah, basically, no matter who you are though, this girl right here, 0.2 Kairi, is pretty much going to be the new Queen Bee for quite a while. In the same way that other Kairis have come before her, 0.2 Kairi is going to just shake the game up once again, delivering +6 general attack, -1 general defense, +1 power, strength, and magic strength, and -1 PSM defense to every single enemy that you are currently attacking, as well as delivering a heal to yourself. I really shouldn't have to explain to anyone why this is so friggin' game-changing. Stay competitive, it's mandatory, completely mandatory to have her, unless you have like a double cast +3 strength buffer already, and even then she gives off more buffs than that, and probably costs less as well. So I really shouldn't have to explain to anyone why this is so friggin' powerful. Should be out the front of almost every Keyblade, unless you're doing high score challenges, I guess, in which case she'll be in there, but maybe not at the front. I really shouldn't have to explain why she is so important. Okay, when is she coming? Well, In the Japanese version, we knew that she was coming at the end. She arrived at the end of March. Going on Japanese time, we are currently at the start of February. So Cloudy X was one of the very first things to drop in February. Actually, it was the first. And 0 Points to Kairi was the second last, I believe, to drop in March. So, until pretty much this week, I could have said with confidence, you've got almost 2 months to save for her. I would have a minimum 15,000 jewels saved up by that point, meaning if you're currently at 0, you need to save every single jewel you can from here until the end, well, until almost 2 months from now. I would have said that had this friggin' key art banner not just come out. The key art banner, which was previously known as key art A, B, and C, now being known as key art BBS, for I'm assuming Birth by Sleep, has kind of shaken that up a little bit. And, you know, that's kind of fun. It keeps me on my toes. Obviously, I used the Japanese version of the game as a massive resource in the past to figure out, okay, what am I saving for? What do I need to save for? What can I afford to spend a little bit of jewels here on? So, the fact that they just arrived, they were pulled up several, I think about 2 months at least ahead of schedule, meaning that I'm not going to say everything's fair game now, but it's not a 100% guarantee anymore. It's definitely not a 100% guarantee that she's coming 2 months from now. Until she does arrive, it's pretty much, if you want to have her right away, you need to have at least 15,000 jewels on you at all times going forward. Okay, why do I say 15,000? Well, because of the caliber of metal that she is, the same way that illustrated KH2 Kairi really did change the game as well. It's... They kind of need to make it a 5-pull Mercy again, because that way the community is able to get her, and not just the lucky few that are able to spend. It would push the power gap significantly higher if she was just a random banner medal that couldn't be drawn. See, I'm saying that even though our current banners have had a pretty good drop rate of the banner medal, like your KHUx 6 and 7 had a pretty good drop rate. I'm actually quite surprised. A medal like this would need to come with some guarantees, I think, just because you'd have a really angry fan base on your hand if that wasn't the case. I think they've shown that they can make an exception, even if Mercy pulls are forever more off the table. I think they've shown that Kairi is an exception to that rule. Having a 5-pull Mercy for Kairi once, and then repeating the illustrated KH2 Kairi banner only a couple of weeks ago, I think we can hopefully assume that Kairi is safe to Mercy pull. You know, 3 orbs, 15,000 jewels will get you a copy of her. I hope. I hope. I'm not promising, but I hope. It makes sense to me in my head, but I could be completely wrong. She could be a no Mercy. She could come tomorrow. Who knows? Hopefully, though, we have at least a month and a half to save for her, meaning that if you don't have a decent jewel storage saved up by now, it's really, really important to go ahead and try and get at least 15,000 by the time she drops, which, again, hopefully 2 months, but maybe not. Okay, I've gone on about her for long enough. Let's talk about something that's coming a little bit closer. Okay. So, starting with what should be the very next medal that we get, we're going to be seeing minus general defense down AoE medals. So, we already have -2 general defense down single target medals, being Illustrated Ansem, Mickey and Minnie, and Illustrated Donald, which I'm so pissed off I missed a copy of that. With AoE, though, it opens up a lot more possibilities in the Colosseum for people to actually get a lot higher. Again, Colosseum, the levels of enemies just skyrocket, meaning the defense skyrockets. If we can cut that defense down, we can actually damage them and not just deal 1 damage. So, having a way of dealing damage to these to these enemies by cutting their defense and cutting all their defense at once means you're able to 1-turn a crapload of enemies and actually propel yourself much further in the Colosseum. I think these are really important, and it'd be really, really, really good idea to get at least one. At least one. Preferably the one that matches the color of your strongest Keyblade, but even saying that, you can pop any one of these on any Keyblade and get the desired effect out, being that general defense down debuff. That's really the important thing here. They deal good damage, obviously, they're tier 5 medals, and having them guilted. That's going to go for everything in this video, by the way. they're obviously going to deal good damage being, you know, tier 5 medals, and if you can guilt them, wow, well done. But the effect is really the important thing. I think about what I use on my Keyblades right now. I've got like 1 or 2 guilted medals, and the rest are just there for their effects. Let me show you. Yep. I miss that button every time. Okay, let's look at my most used Keyblade, Divine Rose. It's there for its effect, there for its effect, there for its effect, there for its effect, there for damage, okay? I've got 5 medals there, 4 of them are there for their effect. Arguably, that one's there for her damage as well, but her damage comes as a result of her being a copy medal. Let's look at any other, yeah. Effect, 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 effect. Well, honestly, they're all pretty effective medals here. That's a big damage dealer, because I've got it guilted. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, but these are all proud mode setups. Anyway, my point being that a lot of my medals I use just for their effect to set up a later medal later on. Being free to play, obviously, I don't have many guilted medals of any high caliber. That could change soon, hopefully, but again, having decent effects like general defense down, plus power, strength, magic, whatever, has let me get pretty far in a lot of the content. So yeah, I think effects are a really, really important thing, and that's going to be a key thing to think of going forward into my video, so hang on. Alright, I'll address this next because it's going to come up eventually, so may as well get it out of the way with now. Having an EX medal would be a fantastic thing for any player, I don't care who you are, to have. The thing with EX medals is that they're time limited, so I'll reference that in reference to the previous medals. Once they're out, like once the 0.2 Kairi medal is out, it's out. You can pull it at any point from that point onwards. So even if you miss it initially, you will always have that small chance of pulling it again and again once you start doing more pulls. And I think every single pull we're ever going to do from now on will have at least 1 premium in it, so you will always have a chance to get her again. Medals like the EX medals here, if you really have your heart set on getting one of these, obviously they're time limited. They're limited to the banner that they appear in, and occasionally they get reprinted in typically newer EX banners. So like, I believe when Sora EX came out, you had a chance of pulling Cloud and Sephiroth again. I could be wrong on that, obviously I don't play JP. But yeah, I mean the EX medals are just ludicrously powerful. This is more coming from the fun point of view, because from a free-to-play player, unfortunately it's unrealistic to expect to pull one of these, and even to go for it. The drop rates of these medals are horrendously low, like well below 1% of actually dropping. And so it's just, as cool as it would be, yeah, even, you know, do a YOLO pull here and there. Why not? Actually have some fun with the game. But if you expect to get one of these, as a free-to-play player, unfortunately, it's probably not going to happen. As cool as it would be. So, yeah, like I said, do a YOLO pull here and there. Maybe wait for a couple of them to come out first, because then if you do a YOLO pull, at least you'll have the chance of getting not just the one that's out, but the ones that are also out. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't pull an Axel EX at all, and I wait till Sora EX, if I pull on Sora EX, I have a chance of getting all those 3. A tiny chance, but a chance nonetheless. So, that's what I'm trying to say. They are extremely powerful. Having one would just make such a difference to your game, but you may have to accept the fact that it isn't going to happen for a free-to-play player. And honestly, for tons of pay-to-play players, look at tons of pay-to-play players who have pulled, spent hundreds of thousands of jewels and not gotten Cloud EX so far. That is not going to get any better, guys. I trust me on that. While we're talking about time-limited medals, I may as well reference these real quick. The Sum medals are going to be coming out eventually. When I first saw them, I thought they were like really good. I'm kind of not so hot on them anymore. Just because, like I said, we have general defense down medals coming out already. Oh, if you don't know, the 4 on the left, the Sums, they, the top 3, sorry, the top 3 there, yeah, these 3. Lower enemies general defense, area of effect, lower enemies defense by 1 stage. Sora and Riku down there. Lower enemies general defense by 2 stages, AoE. That costs 5 gauges though, way too much in my opinion. The other 3 only cost 1. Very good, and I believe that they had a really cheap banner, like it's only 1500 jewels to pull 1 guaranteed with orbs. Really good banner, but the meta moved away from them very quickly. I don't think you'll see anyone using them at all in the JP version now, so while they seem cool at the time, and there's probably a high score challenge associated with them, it might be worth a skip. Might be worth a skip, but we'll see. In reference as talking about that as well, way over there, we've got these other two, the World of Final Fantasy characters, like Lan and Rain, or Lane and Ran. I can't actually, I never played the game, sorry, I don't know who they are. They will have a banner coming back, have a banner coming eventually, which will show the return of the World of Final Fantasy medals themselves. So it's a good chance to pick those back up if you really needed them. Again, though, we are moving away from them entirely, so again, it could be a really cheap banner, but it might be worth skipping just because if you really want to be competitive, if you can guilt a World of Final Fantasy medal, that's still a pretty powerful thing, but yeah, I mean, general defense down is pretty much where it's at in terms of buffs, so they're not quite the powerhouses they used to be, especially moving into Tier 5, Tier 6 and beyond, so I just sort of throw that out there. If you really want them, like you need to have them, this is pretty much your only chance to get them, so might be worth taking the opportunity to pick them up then. Okay, so I've talked about some ones to think about skipping. Let's talk about some ones to think about getting. I love medals that give you benefits like multiple stages of your attack up, like your power-based strength up, your general-based strength up, defense down, what have you. So I picked a few here that, well, in this case, exemplify power. Illustrated Terra B. That one, I'm just going to call it Hades and Cerberus for now because it has a bit of a strange name. 0.2 Riku is not so great, and honestly Simba's Roar, whatever it's called down the bottom there, are not so great, but if you miss out on all the other power-based medals, they're not bad to have, I guess. Probably, honestly, towards the skip section, though. Anyway, well, obviously Sephiroth EX is there because you'd love to have him. I think those two aren't bad. Again, a lot of the medals that I'm talking about aren't bad, and they're huge damage dealers, but like I said, for me, I've gotten so much mileage out of medals that buff my various strengths or my various defenses or debuffed enemies. So I think these are really good examples of ones that give out pretty big buffs and also deal a good amount of damage, especially if you guilt them. Okay, Illustrated Terra B, what does he do? I believe he raises your power-based strength by 3 tiers, as well as lowering the enemy's general defense by 1 tier. That's pretty good combination medal. Hades there, I believe it lowers the enemy's power-based defense by 4 tiers. That is huge. 4 tiers of power-based defense lowered. Really, really powerful stuff. I can already picture, a Dark North setup. Actually, let me come back to that. That's pretty big. 0.2 Riku is not too bad either. I believe he raises your general attack up by 2 stages, which is not bad. Raises your power-based strength by 2 stages as well. That's pretty good. Keeping in mind, though, if you are going to pick up 0.2 Kairi, she's going to raise your strength by 6 stages, meaning that you can't have more than +7 at the moment, meaning that you're effectively going to be wasting one of those little buffs, but it's not a big deal. It'd still be a pretty good medal. Let's talk about speed. I think I had less good medals available for speed, just because I didn't see any that really jumped out to me. Lingering Will, I believe he raises your power speed-based strength by 3 to 5 tiers. Holy crap. Raises your speed-based strength by 5 tiers. That's really powerful. If you're pulling for Sephiroth EX, I believe he's going to come in that banner, so I believe he's a 5 pull Mercy if you were trying to pull for Sephiroth EX, so wow, really, really powerful, really high damage dealing, but also a really great buff. Venitus, whatever you want to call him. Spoiler warning for this whole video, by the way. Sorry, I should probably point that out. Lowers enemies' speed-based defense by 4 tiers. Again, combination of those two medals, just dealing a lot of damage with your follow-up medals, or using those at the back of your Keyblade to deal big damage. It's going to deal huge hits. Really, really good stuff. Magic, I had pretty much nothing to say. Terranaut on the right there is really just an AoE version of HD Ursula. Really nothing to write home about, unfortunately. 0.2 Sora, he's one of the latest medals to come out in Japan, so we're going to be waiting a long time for him. -1 general defense down, -3 magic-based defense. So, not bad in terms of magical-based strength. Not that great, though, either, to be perfectly honest. I don't know, between copy medals and other medals, you probably have a lot better magic-based medals you could use. Yeah. So the reason I'm talking about power, speed, and magic now is because you could try and aim for like one, and as a free-to-play player, have a really, really, really good set of either power or strength or magic medals. Sorry, power, speed, or magic medals, depending on which ones you already have and which ones you want to get in the future. Meaning that you could ignore a magic banner if it came out because you knew, okay, I'm going to set myself forward as a speed-based player or a power-based player, just for example, and I was really going to try and get those ones. I'm going to buy the avatar boards which give me power-based gems. I'm going to upgrade my Fenrir, going to upgrade my Darkgnaw, so on and so forth, and try and push my game as hard as I can using just power. You know, devote all my resources to that rather than scattering them out. That's one idea of what you could do, and I'm kind of tossing it up myself, given that, like this avatar boards we just saw, you know, they would have cost 6,000 jewels to get them all, and I would love to have done it. I would have loved to have done it, but then I wouldn't have had any jewels for these key art A, B, and C's, and then I wouldn't have definitely not had any jewels for 0.2 Kairi. So I actually missed all the avatar boards. I missed every single one, even though I really wanted to buy at least one. I just missed them. I really wanted to buy them, but I just missed them. I keep saying that. And yeah, a little bit of being sad about that, but on the other hand, I've got more jewels, and hopefully those avatar boards will creep up in a better way in the future. More gems, better skills, so it's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Alright. Okay, here's some medals that I think are pretty much just worth skipping entirely. Mainly because, again, big damage dealers, of course, but for me, I love buffers because they help out not just with themselves, but with the gilted medals that, like, if I am able to gilt a medal, I can buff and buff and buff and then finally fire off that gilted medal. Again, we've got limited amount of Mickey and brooms and so on and so forth, so if I can get some buffs, pass them on to one gilted medal, which, again, maybe I'll get enough Mickey and brooms one day to, you know, gilt a really powerful medal. And if I can use, like, little weak medals, like ungilted whatever, with really good buffs, then I can power up that final medal in the back and just fire off massive hits with that and let it pass all the content for me. You know, high score challenges would pretty much already follow that rule, so yeah. With that in mind, medals like these, I think, while they can be used for good damage, free-to-play players should probably just not even give them a second look. 0.2 Terra doesn't give you any buffs. Basically, it costs 6 gauges to use and gives you 3 gauges back. So for a net total of 3, minus 3. But remember, with the new Keyblades, we have barely any room for them as is in terms of gauge cost. All 3 of the new Proud Mode Keyblades, the dark ones, are going to have like a maximum of 10 gauges on them, I believe. Meaning that, okay, 1, you're pretty much forced to run like an AB3 max or an AB4 max plus SP 1 or 2. And B, I don't know, there's no buff on there. It's going to do a powerful hit, sure. You're going to need it to be gilted for one thing. But, I don't know, for a powerful hit with all those downsides, yeah, not for me. Like I said, if you had one of those skills that saved you SP, you could actually use it as a damage dealer and a gauge restorer, but you'd have to invest a skill into that. The damage wouldn't be great unless you got it gilted, meaning you need multiple copies, and then, I don't think it's really worth it. I believe, yeah, Vanitas SP is exactly the same, so these two here are pretty much the same. Cost you 6, but give you back 3. And some SP there. Okay, he gives you 1 layer of general attack up, 1 layer of general defense down for the enemies, and that stacks for 3 turns. So, not a bad medal per se, because, by the 3rd turn and every turn after that, you're going to be at +3 and they're going to be at -1, but how much content have we had lately, guys, where you needed to complete it in 1 turn, 2 turns, rarely ever 3 turns, and honestly, by that point, you can probably have a way better buffer than that. Again, 0.2 Kairi is so close. And to waste your jewels on Ansem SP, I don't think it's worth it, unfortunately. Tifa and Aerith, the first tier 6 medal that wasn't Sephiroth EX. Not a bad set of skills, to be quite honest. Raises your general attack up by 2 stages, lowers enemy's general defense down by 2 stages for 1 turn. Not bad. Not bad at all. But just given how powerful everything is already, like, again, I'm going to keep saying it, 0.2 Kairi comes out before that, and just way better. If you could, yeah, the benefits you get from using 0.2 Kairi would far surpass that. And again, I know, big damage would come from a gilted copy of that, way more so than the 0.2 Kairi, but again, I'm thinking about buffs. All I'm doing is thinking about, I can't afford to gilt a lot of medals. I'm going to buff the one that I can gilt to high heaven and just pray that it works. So, in my book, I'm probably going to skip Tifa and Aerith, but who knows, I might pull it while Mercy pulling for something else and be very happy to have it. That Symbol one I talked about before, yeah, that's pretty bad, especially considering how late it was released. That's only released such a short time ago. All it does is lower enemies' general defense by 1 stage and their power-based defense by 2 stages. That's not even that good now for us, and we're like nearly 4 months behind. Again, huge multiplier, but what doesn't? What doesn't have a huge multiplier? So, in my book, probably one to skip. It looks cool. Sure, it looks cool, but unfortunately, I'm probably going to be skipping that one. Okay, so that's just a few of my thoughts on some of the ones that are coming out, what I'm really going to be going for, and ones to skip. Obviously, things could throw spanners into that works. Falling price deals could come along, and God, they are like a magnet to me. I cannot help but pull on a falling price deal just because cheap premiums, man. Cheap premiums. It's a really, really good opportunity to pick up tons of power at a cheap price. If they tied a falling price deal to one of my least desired medals, I'm probably still going to go for it just because I'm a sucker for cheap premiums. So I hope they don't. I hope they attach a falling price deal to, like, God, can you imagine Illustrated Cage 0.2 Kairi getting a falling price deal? Oh boy, won't happen, but it could. Okay, so what have I got in the background here? Okay. Alright, while I was thinking before, I was thinking, okay, you could probably get your buffs up pretty high in just a few medals now. So what I've got here is I put, let's say you have Dark Noir, for example. You take HD Shion, which is a copy medal exactly like HD Namine, except it's reverse power and it's tier 6. Let's say you took that and you copied a Birth by Sleep Illustrated Mickey. Now what that does is it lowers enemies' single target general defense by 3 stages. So that's only just come out only a couple weeks ago, but that's the new power creep. Again, everything will always get more powerful. And so we've seen our first single target -3 GDD medal, meaning that an AoE version is soon to follow. Anyway, let's say you took Shion, copied Illustrated Mickey, so the enemy is, a single target enemy is now at -6 GDD, -6 general defense. Use Kairi after that, so you're at +6, they're at -7, and you've got +1 PSM as well. Use Hades, they're now at -5 PSM. Use Sephiroth, okay, so in those 5 medals, you have completely capped out on one enemy, and again, replace Birth by Sleep Mickey with an AoE version when the time comes. None of these are gilted, by the way, but well, they don't have to be, but you've completely maxed out your current buff situation. You're at +7 power-based strength and general attack up. They're at -7 general defense and power-based defense. They're going to have to increase the buff cap again. They're going to have to, because in 5 medals, you can reach it. In 5 friggin' medals, you can reach it, and nothing is standing up to that. Good lord. If you gild that Sephiroth EX, everything in the game is falling over. I don't care what it is. Everything in the game is falling over to this sort of combination here. I could be totally wrong, by the way. I could just be thinking that buffs are everything when they're not, but still, god damn. And obviously, this is not an ideal combination. I'm just saying, like, it's crazy now that you can already hit the buff cap in such a short, like, in 5 medals. And, you know, over here in the NA version, we're struggling to hit it in... I've definitely never come close to hitting it. Anyway. Alright, guys, so that's just a little bit of fun. Just remember, everything will always get more powerful. So, even if we start planning to save for a particular thing now, in a month's time in JP, a superior version to that could be released, and then everyone will go, No, don't save for that. Save for this next thing instead. Again, that's why the only one I'm absolutely confirming is 0.2 Kairi. I think she's going to be mandatory for quite a while until probably Kingdom Hearts 3 Kairi, to be honest. She'll be the next huge thing. Again, I didn't talk about VIP just because I'm not planning on playing with VIP. I know Illustrated VV is a huge VIP medal, giving a really good amount of buffs. So one to think about if you're a VIP player. Hopefully this hasn't been too boring for you guys. Hopefully this has sort of given some clarity on where my head's at. I believe I've talked about them all. EX medals. EX Shion looks so cool, by the way. Alright, I'll leave it there. No, I won't. Because there's something I wanted to do. I think copy medals are really friggin' important because you can use those to copy. Fuck off, Damo. You don't want to hear me talk. You just want to hear me pull. I'm just going to put it out there. I would love a boosted medal. I have yet in this entire game to pull a boosted medal. So if there was ever a time to pull one, let it be now. Let it be during this banner. I'm going to do one pull in this video and then probably some more in the future. I saw 2 premiums there, boy. I saw 3 premiums there. What the freaking hell? Whoa. That's incredible. Okay, 1 dot, but at the end of the day, I still got 4 premiums, so... God damn, that's incredible. Okay. Just gonna get a screenshot of that. Wow. Okay, cool. I'm definitely gonna pull on this banner at least one more time. Not in this video, because I'm a view whore, as they say. I'm gonna whore him out to a different video. And this video is long enough as it is. Wow, if you haven't got Lucifer yet, grab Lucifer for Proud Mode. It's so good. The rest of this pool is pretty average, but who cares? 3 friggin' premiums. Alright, leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Good to see you again. I know it's been a while, but I'll see you soon, guys. All the best. Bye.